Hello everybody, Mark D from this side of the screen. In this part of my video blog I want to talk about the British perception of music and about the fact that The Cure, Depeche Mode, Queen are not exactly British bands. London and the UK, a center of the music world. While living overseas, you may have a different view of the UK music scene. You see only those acts who made it through and became worldwide stars. So when staying abroad, you think that almost every band in the UK is equally genius, like those acts you knew before. At least you hope their way of seeing things is similar to yours. Something you've been missing while living back home, where most of the bands were heavy metal or Pink Floyd wannabes. Before you came here, you have perceived UK as the mecca of best music in the whole world. Your music. Not so much money driven like in the US. No village country, no macho hard rock or gangsta rap. You love many bands who came from there. They are your idols and shape you and your own music. You think perception here must be unique. Only in the UK, the best song ever written, Queen's Innuendo, reached #1 in the charts. Same thing happened with another personal top 10, U2's The Fly. And so what? Once you came here and start living here for a certain time, you find out things are not the way you were expecting. You find out that overall majority of UK scene is not like those few acts you adore. Most of the music here is not like The Cure, Depeche Mode or Queen. Mentally, those three artists are exceptions, overseas bands with British personnel. This is not something which exists on every corner in Camden or Islington. Of course, being a musician and having too many local competitors is also not good. But at least you hope that fans will be shaped in that sensibility. Unfortunately, you see that majority is mentally locally first. They see the world in a narrow way, and above it all, they suffer from lack of true expression. So who are the real British artists? British perception of music has nothing to do with seriousness of Enjoy the Silence or 100 Years. It's much closer to Oasis' Rough and Muddy Supersonic or Blur's Shallow Rhyming, Rhyme for Better Rhyme, Girls and Boys, or the Smiths' over-intellectualism like In This Charming Man. Even New Order sticks to that formula very well. That is why they are better understood locally, not globally. Those acts perfectly represent British emotionalism. Above it all flies the spirit of grandfather of poseurism. His name is David Bowie. No, Black Star does not touch me. This is not innuendo. It's sad to see Lazarus sounding like The Cure's The Drowning Man. Old man's dying, hiding in the closet, but despite understanding message, I do not feel affected by that. I imagine people will shout at me, "How dare you? You're David Gahan covered heroes." Robert Smith played at David Bowie's 50th birthday. Queen recorded with him Under Pressure. He is an icon. Yes, he is. Like a picture of fashion magazine with lifeless models on the catwalk. Because of his shallowness, until the very end, 90% of David Bowie's music is for me undigestible. He followed trends, or at least on intellect, instead gut feeling. Now I can understand why he is so respected in the UK. He represents all what the British music stands for. Successful artists on the UK market tends to trivialize everything, and everyone, and lyrics are full of idioms and not dominated by vowels. Problems shown in the Smiths songs cannot be understood in Brazil or China. Instead of that, it emphasizes a perspective of the person who can rely on birth certificate for the entire life. No need for passport to travel across the seas, because sound is the best in Bournemouth or Blackpool. Who needs to go to Spain then? Love is cheesy. I remember when I was singing in the studio my old heartfelt tune called Friend Song. The guys working there were looking at me like I'm standing naked. Do you really mean what you say? Oh, come on. Be more eloquent, intellectual, not so obvious. It's not cool. Openly expressing emotion, I'm not talking about over-expressing, honesty, telling the truth is not welcome here. In art as well. I agree on that with Dmochowski's book, Struggles for Beksiński. He has observed similar trend in France. What a contrast between the Cure openness in love song and another locally first band, Franz Ferdinand, with their shallow love illumination. You may find a dark mysticism in this land of fog, or rather humidity, with too many old buildings. That is so stereotypical, like seeing typical Englishman as a gentleman looking like Sherlock Holmes. Maybe the landscapes around can inspire you to write some more sinister material, but after finishing this, you can hide it in your drawer. Oh no, wait, release your doom and gloom, but do not perform it too seriously. If I can give example here, it should be much closer to Dracula from Hammer Horrors than to Werner Herzog Nosferatu. Something which relies on convention, not romanticism. You have to control yourself, stick to the rules, do not go mad or be too true. Maybe this is caused by lack of forest, not much free wild areas. Almost everything green is someone's private property. That means less freedom and more control imposed on your behavior. You can watch it through the fence. Unless you will not buy it for yourself, you cannot lose yourself here. How can you be tribal and primal if you never gather around the fire, hunted on animals to eat them? Instead you buy overpriced meat in shops. You're not allowed even eat a fish you caught or pick up a mushroom without purchasing license. Do not go to the forest, instead go to the pub with their greedy prices on beer and food. Maybe this is because of stiff upper lip. In some situations, such approach is good. It makes you stronger. But in life, you may also experience moments of breakdowns happening one by one. In such extreme time, it's better sometimes to bend a little than to stand still and then completely fall apart. Also, being too stiff can be ridiculed without any mercy, just like it is shown in Monty Python sketches. Surprisingly, Joy Division is recognized in the UK, respected, with their black and white, salt and vinegar, but honest music. But new local acts did not learn anything from Ian Curtis, Hook and the rest. What do we have on the top? White Lies, Editors, Interpol. The last act is from the US, but well adopting here. All of them can be compared to boys bands forced to play like Joy Division. They will not give their life or even a little blood for their art. Do they believe in anything? Do they reject everything like post-punk nihilists from late 70s, early 80s? No, they balance safely to reach their pain and nostalgic target. Conclusion. So my personal, almost 40 years old approach as an artist and music listener is not to throw away my old idols and own songs. But when making new music, I want to think differently, follow the crowd and join the right party. In many UK reviews, my own music has been described as heartfelt. Initially, I enjoyed that euphorically. More recently, I've learned how to decode this. It is a nice gesture, but open heart, naiveness, will not sell you here. Another word, unique, makes you feel even better. I worked for that very hard since when I was teenager. But you should read it as stay away from the freaks. So at least for a while, I don't want to be freak and naive. Even if not in music, I am adapting such distance approach to everything I do. Deep inside I can be true, but who needs truth nowadays? Thank you for watching my video blog. And soon you will hear and see more material from me. Subscribe, comment, leave thumbs up, thumb down. Thank you.